Hey, it's Sunday, September 4th, 2022. Today's talk is called Migrant Handlings, Another Reason to Vote for Biden and Beto. I do a couple of those every now and then, and I point out the bull crap that goes on with our governor and how everybody else is potential for better things. Okay, and this is one of them. Coming off of a news article written by CBSnews.com on the 2nd of September, September 2nd of this year, U.S. Border Patrol claiming 8 migrants died trying to cross Rio Grande. On Friday, September 2nd, 2022, in Eagle Pass, Texas officials, Eagle Pass, for the record, if you see San Antonio on the map, go to the west, you'll see Uvalde, the place where that elementary school shooting took place. You go south of Uvalde down to the border, you'll see Eagle Pass, which is on the opposite side of the border of Piedras Negras, Mexico. Okay, that's where Eagle Pass is. In Eagle Pass, Texas, officials declared a discovery of migrants crossing the Rio Grande in a large group. 8 of them died. The U.S. Customs Border Patrol rescued 37 migrants and detained 16 others. Okay, Mexican officials took 39 migrants into custody. Okay, both sides continue to search for any more possible victims. This is all good. This is all good. Some more rescuing and arresting criminals and rescuing migrants that are looking for salvation and sanctuary over here. That's fantastic. This time in Eagle Pass. Usually it's in El Paso. But Eagle Pass wound up doing the job. The law enforcement wound up doing their job. The EMS wound up doing their job. The medical field wound up doing their job. And needless to say, the processing of the government agencies all the way down to state agency, if not just simple volunteer agency, is going to be downloading the data and processing them and all that good stuff. And that's great. That is wonderful news. Welcome to the big time Eagle Pass. Welcome back to doing your jobs and not being a stooge to Governor Greg Abbott's crap. Making you lap dogs, checking tire, making you gas jockeys at the bridge, at the border stop, making you gas jockeys, making sure that the tire pressures are good and all this good stuff, checking fluid levels and all this other crap. Welcome back to the big time Eagle Pass. Here's basically what happened. Days after heavy rain in the Big Bend region, the results in swift currents in the Rio Grande. This pretty much is the result of what happens when rains hit the Big Bend area. It's a Big Bend National Park, full of wildlife, full of hard terrain, and great for drainage back into the river. Whatever it catches, the plant life, the wildlife, they all live and they all thrive, but the rest of the water drains perfectly into the Rio Grande River. And it's called Big Bend because it happens to be that dip on the map, the dip in between the West Texas and the southern part that goes down to the southern tip of the state of Texas. That little dip is the bend that it's referring to. And when it sails, it flows down out of the Big Bend region. It coasts up north, and then it goes down southeast down all the way down to the Gulf. And on the other side of that bend is Del Rio, and right after Del Rio is El Paso. And again, El Paso, if you look for it on the map, it's going to be the border town that's south of Uvalde. And if you can't find that, zoom in on San Antonio and look to the west of it. To the west of San Antonio, you'll see Uvalde. And then scroll down to south of Uvalde to the border, you'll see Eagle Pass. And it's right across the river from Piedras Negras. So, that being said, Crossing the river, back to the article, crossing the river can be a challenge even for the strongest of swimmers. This is true. The current can take people, disappear off the face of the earth like it's nothing. In a news release last month, more than 200 bodies of the dead migrants get discovered in Del Rio sector. That's just south of the Big Bend region. From October of last year to July of this year. That's 200 bodies so far. In the last 3 decades, thousands have died attempting to enter the U.S., often from dehydration or drowning. There's a lot of effort that comes into crossing that river. In some cases, it's small. In other cases, you have to swim and take your chances. And much like most rivers, one part of the river could be 3 feet deep in the year 2017. 2025, the currents could have taken it out, and the river and underneath the water level, the land could have dropped 30 feet. That's just Earth shifting and nature, cycles. Okay, now that was the article. My comments, Chris's comments. And this is the reason why I titled it Migrant Handlings, yet another reason to vote for Beto and Biden. Okay? Here we go. This kind of stuff, this rescuing 37 migrants and detaining 16 traffickers, this is the kind of stuff that we want to see. This is the kind of stuff that we want our tax-paying dollars. Oh, excuse me, I burped. This is what we want our tax-paying dollars to go to. Okay? This is what I was talking about in one of my previous episodes called Bragging Rights. Okay? Where 29 migrants over in El Paso were rescued from a stash house. Okay? 29 migrants in a house that had no AC in El Paso. No working refrigerator, no stove, no working plumbing even. That bathroom in a house had to be used as an outhouse, which means they had to deal with whatever aroma came with it, with whatever aerial bacterial that came from that bathroom, and whatever else fungi or virus could be made or birthed out of that non-working plumbing toilet in that house. Okay? 29 people stashed in that house. 29! You think it's crowded with a family of 4. So yeah, that was earlier last week, at the last week of the last day of August. Here we are a couple of days into September. 37 migrants recovered and rescued. Just a couple of days after the 29 that were saved, which is 3 months after 70 children recovered and rescued. Again, ranging from Juarez, Mexico to El Paso to Dallas Fort Worth area, to a little town inside of Colorado. And I can't remember what that little town was, but it's everything from El Paso, outside of Texas, north and south, and inside of Texas, around El Paso. 70 children recovered, rescued, and sent to rehabilitation. They were kidnapped, they were trafficked, and they were all minors. And there was a total of 70. Okay, this is what I'm talking about when I say the law should be put into the law, the EMS should be put into the medical should be medical, and those agencies, from federal government agencies to state agencies to volunteer agencies, okay, they should be doing the processing these migrants and stuff like that, having them with an identity, okay, having them with an identity, and they're easy and more solid to track. This is what I'm talking about: the receiving, detaining, rescuing, is what we all want to see. It's what I love to see. You know, I miss those old cop shows, TJ Hooker, you know, Hill Street Blues. I miss those old cop shows, man. I always love to see that stuff. I miss the medical shows like Trapper John MD and, what's the name? Saving Grace, I think it was called. No, Grey's Anatomy. I'm sorry. Oh, bad. Psh, bad rideshare driver memory. I missed those shows. I missed all that stuff. But most importantly, I missed it when it came out on the news. Okay? I am loving how this is coming out on the news right now. Rescued, recovered, rehabilitated, detained, arrested, imprisoned. You know, I am loving it. It's the bull crap that I don't like. The bull crap that goes with it. ICE letting go 4 felons, 2 of them sex offenders, 1 in Del Rio, 1 in Austin. Repeated sex offenders to top it all off. Illegal aliens, and ICE let them go. Why? I don't know. They did. They just did. This whole bizwax with the Biden, Greg Abbott suing President Biden. Abbott is my governor, suing President Biden out of that $550 billion free spending section of the infrastructure bill, suing him for more money, so far up to $4 billion for a border wall in the name of putting up border wall and securing our borders. A border wall that, once again, has not been completed, has not been repaired, much less lifted off of the ground. The parts that fell 1 year after being built has not been completed, is not being worked on at all. Okay? This kind of garbage. And then to top it all off, because it's not just about doing the right thing, there is money involved in this. Operation Lone Star catch and jail program, a part of Operation Lone Star, the policy that secures our border and all this other garbage, since July of 2021. And for those of you that don't remember or don't know it, catch and jail was basically all of our Texas cops, that ranging from DPS to state trooper to local law enforcement, all of them going out and arresting Americans in the name of border security. Literally, and I'm going to start with the most wildest one. A woman getting pulled over for a speeding ticket, being forced to have the cops say, "I'm going to search your vehicle," despite the fact they had no probable cause, finding 1 loose leaf of marijuana. It's less than an ounce in her glove box. It wasn't in her hand. She wasn't smoking it. It wasn't visible for anybody to see, much less any children or any passerbyers. It was in her glove box. Okay? It was in her glove box. Almost like a concealed weapon, you know? Just conceal and put it out of the way so nobody can see it and have the temptation to break into the car and take off with it. Nevertheless, she was arrested. She was supposed to be given a speeding ticket, but she was arrested for smuggling drugs across the border. Despite the fact that she didn't come from the border, this pullover was done in Coke County, which is 200 miles inside the border of Texas. Okay? 200 miles inside the border in an entirely different county, not even a border county. But she was pulled over, thrown felony charges instead of a misdemeanor speeding ticket, and arrested for that, facing those kinds of charges. And she wasn't even a Latina. Not only was she not a migrant, she wasn't even Latina. This was a white American woman. Okay, that's the most wild arrest ever. And don't get me wrong, there were some actual criminals, bar fights, domestic disputes, shoplifting. Okay, there were some, a fight at a throwing a drink at a McDonald's, at a fast food place. Okay, there were some arrests that were made, but they were all labeled under felony charges as illegal immigrants threatening the border. Okay, and this was as far north as Arlington and Dallas. Okay, that's what's going on when under our current governor, Greg Abbott, who's got law enforcement making criminals, as opposed to somebody like Beto O'Rourke, the mayor of El Paso, that's recovering and rescuing migrants, detaining and arresting traffickers and smugglers. Okay? Again, 29 migrants, 70 children on a daily basis. And that's not including the smugglers. $160 million worth of fentanyl in a car that some lady thought that she could just bat her eyes and drive by. You know, there was one guy that was stuck with 3 or 4 bags of fentanyl and methamphetamine pills. It was up his rectum. You know, I'm not making this up. It's true. Stuck up his rectum. You know, busted. The lady driving by, busted. The senior citizen that tried placing himself off as an old man, kind old man. Hola, buenos dias. Busted with $68 million worth of meth. Okay? That's going on over there in El Paso. Now, I understand I started off with Eagle Pass. Congratulations, Eagle Pass. Okay? You're now matching a little bit. You're doing a little bit of what's being done in El Paso when you're not doing the garbage that's being done under the orders of our current governor, Greg Abbott. Congratulations. You know, you're doing what we, the taxpayers, want to see. What we want to see out of that. Okay? So how much money of that is going to the catch and jail Operation Lone Star program since as far back as 2021 and stuff? Well, Governor Greg Abbott has used a total of $2.2 billion in Texas taxpayer funds. Okay? That's aside from the $4 billion that he's already sued the government for. Okay? $2.2 billion. All right. $463,000 went to a Maverick County, which is the county that Eagle Pass is in. Okay, it went to Maverick County attorney. Okay, it didn't go to the county. It just went to the attorney. $463,000 to Maverick County attorney Jamie A.J. Iracheta. Okay, the county's attorney and why to approve Operation Lone Star's catch and jail program, to approve it, to make that legal, to arrest people, Americans, for illegal alien smuggling activities, facing felony charges. When even if they are doing something, is mostly misdemeanors. Here's another one out of the same county, Maverick County. The sheriff, okay? The sheriff of Maverick County, his name is Tom Schmerber, and he received $1.2 million. Okay, that's quite a bit of step up from Iracheta, who only received just under $500,000, $463,000. But the sheriff of Maverick County, Tom Schmerber, received $1.2 million just for him alone. The city of Eagle Pass Police Department, however, got $1 million and change. Okay, the police department got $1 million and change. That one sheriff got 1.2 mil, and both are way more than what the attorney of the county got, which was $463,000. Okay, not that I'd complain if I was that attorney, but you see where the money's going. Now, the point of that is just to support and enforce Operation Lone Star. Okay, but you add all that up, and that still doesn't equal to $2.2 billion that is coming out of Texas taxpayers' funds. Okay? It's all about the money. Belief is the tool. And brother, are they banking? The Governor Greg Abbott and everybody on his side is banking. Maverick County, banking. Eagle Pass area. More than likely Del Rio. I don't have anything on them yet. But give me patience. Which is a lot like, well, where does the $2 billion or the $4 billion, that's a total of $6 billion. Where does the rest of it go? Well, I know where $700,000 went. It went to Kennedy County, where Judge Chuck Burns, fifth generation resident of Kennedy County. For the record, Kennedy County, if you go to the map where it says San Antonio, my city, and you go to the southeast of it, you'll see Kennedy County is a county that's alongside the beach. It's not anywhere, it's not a border county. I was mistaken. I thought it was along the border, but it's not. It's north of a border county, but it's not a border county. It's a beach county. And these are the ones that are claiming that they got $700,000 just to pick up dead migrants. Okay? Not live migrants, dead migrants. And they said if we did an autopsy on it, the cost of that would skyrocket. So we are to take their word for it that they were already dead when they got them. Okay? And that was the only way, by picking them up and doing a head count, that they were to get $700,000 from my governor Greg Abbott, my state's governor Greg Abbott. Okay? This is coming from a judge. This is coming from the local sheriff as well. Okay? This is supposed to be money to help build a wall. What Governor Greg Abbott has been saying. He's been suing our government. He's been suing the Biden administration, taking portions of money out of the $550 billion free spending section of the infrastructure bill, which is supposed to go to our infrastructure. He's claiming that it's going to the border wall, which once again is not being built, is not even completed. The parts that are gaps is not being repaired. It's especially not being lifted off the ground, the parts that fell 1 year after completion during the Trump administration. $700,000 straight to Kennedy County. 400,000 of it goes straight to an attorney in Maverick County. 1.2 million and 1 million also. So that's 2.2 million, and plus the 400. That's just under $3 million. 3 million. I'm sorry. $3 million that went to a county. That's not rescuing anybody. That's not arresting any criminals. They're certainly not recovering and ascertaining any of this stuff. They're not stopping any buggers. And then 700 more go straight to Kennedy County, where they're not arresting anybody. They're not rescuing anybody. They're not saving anybody. They're certainly not keeping anybody alive. Sorry, that's my phone. They're not keeping anybody alive. They're just picking up dead bodies. That's it. Migrants that dehydrated, kind of like the way they're described, dehydrated or drowned after a coastal storm, like the way that's being claimed over here in El Paso in the Del Rio area, where they are border counties. Same thing with Uvalde, Caney County, and Goliad counties, where they're declaring an invasion. Caney County is claiming there's only 8 deputies there. There's an invasion, but yet none of those deputies are getting killed. Okay? If there's an invasion, where's their dead bodies? If there's an invasion, where's the dead bodies of the migrants with guns in their hands and bombs and all this other stuff? How come there's no gunfights being recorded? You could see gunfights in Iraq. You could see gunfights here in the U.S. where, Kyle Rittenhouse shot somebody. You could see gunfights and gun shootings out of clubs and all this other stuff. But you can't see anything like that along the borders. From Kennedy County, Uvalde, Kennedy County, El Paso, Eagle Pass, You're not seeing any kind of footage like that of an invasion. There's no crops being destroyed, no cattle being slaughtered, no farmers being killed, no women being taken away, no children, no dog being shot, no cat being skinned, no bird or parakeet or whatever being killed, Ozzy Osbourne style even. Not even Ozzy Osbourne, not even with their own mouths. None of that crap is going on. You know? But here's Kinney County, and the reason why I bring up Kinney County and their invasion crap is because of what happened in Kennedy, the interview of Kennedy County. South Texas County gets state dollars to recoup border crisis expenses. Okay, that's an interview on YouTube. I think it was KSAT 12 that reported it. Okay, it's an interview on YouTube. Scroll down to the comment section, and I really wish I could remember what his darn name was. I don't think I got it. I did not. But scroll down to the comment sections, and you're going to see a comment that says, we've got the same problem in Kinney County. We've got a section in our town's cemetery for where we bury the migrants. His words, not mine. His words. How much is Kinney County getting paid to do that? I don't know, but based off of Kennedy County, I can pretty much guess it's around $700,000. And these are the same people that are going to Greg Abbott saying, declare the emergency, declare invasion declaration, make that legal, pass it, because we need the fundings. They themselves says they were grateful. They were very thankful for the money that was filtered in through OLS. OLS is Operation Lone Star. And now they're asking Greg Abbott to step it up once again here in 2022. How much? I don't know, but based off of Kennedy County, they can go as high as $700,000. It's all about the money. Belief is the tool. You follow the money, you look at the results, see it for yourselves. I'm not making any of this up. These are all reported. These are all reported crap. You know? This is what's going on. And that's the reason for bringing up Migrant Handlings, yet another reason to vote for Beto and Biden. What has this got to do with them? The swindling and the hustling that Greg Abbott is doing? Quite a bit, even though I haven't been talking about him. But here it is. Biden administration is sending down organizations, everything with Alejandro Mayorkas in charge of holding facilities and other sanctuary facilities and all this good stuff. Okay? While that's going on, even as far as El Paso now, Eagle Pass now, as of September 2nd of this year, okay? While this is going on, law enforcement is recovering and rescuing migrants while detaining and arresting their traffickers. Okay? This is exact process that Beto O'Rourke in El Paso is doing. Okay, he's letting the law enforcement be law enforcement. He's letting the medical people that are recovering and rescuing and then rehabilitating, like those 70 children back in May, you know, he's letting the medical facilities and medical establishment handle things medically with these migrants, those victims. And then to top it all off, he's not stopping anything that the government or any of the agencies from doing their holding facilities and sanctuary and all this other stuff. That's what's going on in West Texas. All that babbling bullcrap that I just mentioned earlier, Americans being facing felony charges for what illegal criminals are doing, suing the government, and spreading the cheer around to these officials, these county officials, and you can bet your ass none of the residents are seeing any of that money. You know, these are all people saying this is an invasion. This is we're being overwhelmed. And then guess where they're going in those counties? Because there's a small population for such large pieces of land. They're going to their acreage ranch land, their 2-story houses with a barn for 2-3 car garages and a tractor. They're going to that, surrounded by acres of land. Okay? They're going back to their homes. Those are their homes. Those are their houses. After coming up on social media, the internet, and the media, claiming it's an invasion. We're overwhelmed. This is an emergency. We're overwhelmed. It's an invasion. Okay? This is the BS that I'm talking about. What Beto is not doing. What Alejandro Mayorkas is not testifying to. What President Biden is not acknowledging or noticing, because there's nothing there to notice. He's just saying what he's doing is staying focused and keeping track with migrant agencies down here in Texas. Okay? He's not paying attention to those people saying it's an invasion. We're under attack. And then go right back to their land, surrounded, their acreage lands, the homes on acres, their ranch lands, their farmlands. And that's even if they're not already millionaires, like the people with the oil and fuel industry, who are just simply going on their acres of land. Okay? They're big 2-story, 2.5-story houses on acres of land, 4-car garages, and all this other crap. That's what's going on. That's why it's another reason you get to keep voting for Beto, keep voting for Biden. And for my fellow Texans out there, let's vote for Beto, because you're not seeing any of this kind of crap going on with him. We're seeing it with our current Governor Greg Abbott, and he's been posting all these advertisements about himself, how down to earth he is, and how he worked for college, and all this stuff, despite the fact that was back in like 1978, when paying for your college wasn't a problem. Back in the 1970s, he shows all these old pictures with him with his big old John Travolta hair, the Vinnie Barbarino hairdo, and he's over there going to, he's out there saying, well, I worked and I did 4 jobs and all this other crap, good for you, man, good for you. But what's messed up about those statements is that in this day and age, you still can't do that even if you're working 4 jobs. Everything is designed to price gouge you. But that's a different story. That's a different story. That's the business stuff that I'll be talking about. Because remember, it's all about the money. Belief is the tool. And the money on this subject is the bullcrap tactics of getting money from suing the government and off of our Texas tax-paying funds to make everybody here believe that you're safer. You're welcome. I'm telling you. And it's sad because, like, those of you on the other side of the screen, you might not be watching this in Texas. Those of you on the other side of the screen might be here in the state in the same mud that I'm in, the same dirt pit that I'm in, because I'm having to deal with the high prices of everything, high cost of living, no differently than you are, while watching our Texas governor say, you're safer now, despite the fact that I've jailed Americans for federal charges that illegal immigrant criminals are doing. Despite the fact that I've sued the government and brought in billions of dollars, but only distributed it to my people. Despite all of that, I can say you're safer now. You're welcome. That's the crap that I'm looking at. That's the crap that I'm looking at. His Barbarino hairdo and stuff. Trying to make him seem like a normal guy, like a mammal of some sort. A normal human being. No. That swine is no normal human being. Okay? That pig who does this kind of crap, while, and I've seen no reports about him paying anybody out there. I've seen no reports on any cops out there that are saying, I got rewarded this stuff for rescuing 37 migrants. I got rewarded $100,000, $700,000 for rescuing those 29 migrants in a stash house. I got rewarded for rescuing 70 children that were human trafficked and kidnapped. You know, I'm not looking at any of them doing that. Why? Because they're all on salary anyway. They're doing their jobs. Okay? They're doing their jobs. While the worthless governor that's currently in charge right now is falsifying arrests, making Americans into illegal fugitives, and then telling you you're welcome. Telling us you're welcome. That's the BS that I'm looking at. It's another reason, especially through this migrant handlings, another reason to vote for Beto and Biden this year, this coming elections. You know, and again, follow the money for yourselves. Follow the money. I told you the articles. Follow the money. See for yourself. Look at those results. South Texas County gets state dollars to recoup border crisis expenses. Keeney, several other counties on Texas border declare illegal immigration and invasion. Want Abbott to act to end the surge. That's the other article. You know, that one I did not write the article. Sorry about that. Oh, U.S. Border Patrol, 8 migrants die across the Rio Grande. You know, it shows you exactly who's making what money and all this other garbage. I don't recall the article, but El Paso Texans, Border Patrol working at El Paso border crossing apprehend a man with an outstanding warrant for indecency with a child. That was April 27th, I think. April 27th. Yeah. He was a 68-year-old Mexican arriving from Mexico on foot. Mexican national Rosario Eduardo Trejo Quintero, 44, and a Chinese national Hong Yong Lee, 40 years old, were arrested in Pontiac on a drug bust. U.S. immigrations hold each man possible for deportation. Boo. You know, I'm not caught up here, but you see, you look up this stuff, and you've got the 70 children. What's in May 31st, I think, the article, or that might be the time that I broadcasted it, that I shared the news. 70 missing children, human trafficking victims, recovered in 3 weeks. Texas operations, officials say. That's the one where 70 kids were rescued. They were kidnapped, they were human trafficked, and some were just plain missing off the face of the earth. In June, more than $1.68 million in methamphetamine seized at Texas-Mexico border. Okay? You can read that for yourself. 1.68 million in street value. That's 371.74 pounds. Okay? Just reviewing. Now, I've got all this stuff already posted, but it's under a different title, and I do apologize for that. In my mind, it's a total reason why. Actually, I think I've got this one. Border agents arrest a woman smuggling fentanyl in rectal cavity at Texas-Mexico border. And I think I actually posted that exact title. And it's because of the simple fact that when you let law enforcement be law enforcement, this kind of productivity happens. You know, when you get law enforcement being our worthless Governor Greg Abbott's lapdogs, his bitches, you know, you get Americans being charged with felony crimes. 34-year-old woman, 2 bundles of blue fentanyl pills in the rectal cavity. An 18-year-old male, I think in his rectal cavity, I'm not really sure. 36.4 pounds of cocaine. Okay, maybe not in his rectum. But one woman did have fentanyl in her bum. You know, a 53-year-old Mexican citizen, female, in her car. Not in her bum, in her car. And the reason why I say this is because it looked kind of big. 21.12 pounds of methamphetamine, 12.72 pounds of fentanyl, and 2.33 pounds of heroin in her car. Not in her car. Nowhere else. Okay. Yep. 30 pounds of meth on June 14th. You know, I've made posts of these before. More than 4 million in methamphetamine seized at the Texas-Mexican border. Okay. In a tractor. 1,200 hidden packages of meth in a tractor. You know, I've made these posts before, but I'm posting them all up here again. Not just, especially after bragging rights, which I think is the second to the last post that I made before this one. The last one I can't really remember what I paid. I'll look into it, but that's not the point. You know, I did one called bragging rights, where everything that I said about this theory, if you just let law enforcement be law enforcement, if you just let medical be medical, if you just let the rescue agencies be rescue agencies, you know, regardless as to whoever's in political power, you know, great production gets done. And again, like the drug busts and stuff, that's the stuff that I want to see my tax-paying go dollars to also. Not just to the rescue and recovery and those poor migrants and all this other crap. And, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not crap, but you know what I'm saying, you know? I want to see 16 detainers arrested. I want to see that guy that tried to, that was responsible for killing 53 migrants in his tractor trailer. He tried putting some blood on him or some kind of crap like that and pretending to be dehydrated. He was the driver, and he tried mingling in with the corpses of the people that he just killed in his tractor trailer. And he tried to get off that way. He tried to get away, to escape the law that way, you know. But I like detective stories and police stories where guys like that don't get away. I like to see that. I like to see that the chase is on for those that did, you know. And I especially love it when that is being done on our tax-paying dollars. Not this crap that the current Governor Greg Abbott is doing, making criminals out of citizens. That's a bunch of BS, man. That is total bullcrap. The hell kind of governor? What the hell kind of any kind of leader is that? He's a worthless one. He's a worthless leader. He is absolutely worth nothing. And that's coming after Rick Perry. That's coming after Bush Jr., who was that's coming out after Ann Richards when she was Texas governor. You know, she arrested a whole crap load of people with raising the punishments off of the littlest of things. If y'all remember the marijuana, if you're old enough to remember my days, the wars on against drugs, the war on drugs, where somebody with an ounce or less than an ounce, you know, will face some serious time. More serious than any murderer. More serious than a murder rapist who can get out in 3 years, 3 to 5. You know, there were people that were getting stuck like this one with one leaf of marijuana, one loose leaf of marijuana for 10 years. and hundreds of thousands of dollars in bail. And this kind of babbling BS, I mean, that's what this stuff that Barbarino over there in the Capitol, the guy that wants you to think he's hip, like a sweat hog. This guy here, that's what he reminds me of all of that crap that was going on, you know, back in the 70s and 80s and even 60s, you know, actually even into the 90s. There were a lot of people doing some hard time for the smallest of crimes, misdemeanors. That's what this douchebag of a governor that's running my state, that's what he reminds me of. All this horse crap. He is 100% worthless. But back to this subject, the handling of the migrants, you know, which of course the sole reason why I was even talking about false accusations was because this is how he handled the migrants. This is how the governor handled the migrant problems. The migrants coming over the border by arresting Americans. It's just idiotic. And yet again, it's another reason why, if you're here in Texas, to vote for Beto, who's getting all those criminals caught and all these victims recovered and rescued, you know, and all those drugs confiscated and taken away. And all within the limited tax-paying dollars that he has budgeted with, you know, while our current governor, $2.2 billion on making Americans criminals. $2.2 billion of Texas tax-paying dollars, not including the $4 billion that he's already accumulated suing Biden. Suing the Biden administration, taking portions out of that infrastructure bill. That's the sole reason for this. Titled Migrant Handlings, another reason to vote for Beto and Biden. Okay? We want them to stay in power because of the simple fact that they're working on this stuff. Even with the scandals that they had to face. You know, Southwest Key Australia beating, manhandling the migrant children back when they were permitted to come, but without accompanied adults. They were manhandled, they were shoved, they were kicked. One was even seen under surveillance being slammed against the wall. You know, all during the time that they were told you can only have one meal out of the day and have only one restroom break. You know? Excuse me. Sorry about that. You know, same thing all the way over here to Houston, Texas. That very same scenario through the National Association of Christian Churches. I don't doubt that they're still going to be offering their services to Alejandro Mayorkas, the guy that's in charge of putting up these facilities. I'm only hoping that the scandals don't come back with this whole bizwax of getting $1.6 million to put into an open warehouse where they have to use leftover boxes as partitions for any act of privacy, because in Houston is where they had the girl minors, everybody from 17 and under. Okay, that was over in Houston. They had no privacy, no hygiene, which, as we all know, for girls, that's very important. You know, you connect those dots, including, you know, one meal a day and one bathroom trip a day. That's it. Sleeping on cots or on sleeping bags on the floor. You know, $1.6 million paid for all that. No. There's a lot of money that wasn't spent on that mission. The place where I can't judge is here in Texas, is San Antonio. Here in San Antonio, they were placed in an auditorium, the Coliseum, and they had privacy. They had internet connection, and they had more than just one day of food. and free access to the bathrooms and stuff. Over here we had the boys, 17 and under migrant boys. Okay, they were actually being taken care of. They were actually talking to the media, telling them that they were doing all right. They missed their family. They're hoping they can connect with whoever it is that they're supposed to here on this side of the border. And then to top it all off, here on this side of the border, here on this side of the border, those that were supposed to do the other half of the migrant deal, they were getting apprehended and arrested. Coming up there, hey, I'm still supposed to be paid. Their families paid for their kid to come over here, and I'm still supposed to be paid for picking them up. They literally did that shit. They literally did that crap. And I'm guessing it's because they saw that it was just a volunteer holding facility, okay, and not well guarded with some cops patrolling the area. I'm guessing that that's the reason why they felt they could have the balls to walk up there and demand that we fork over the children, the migrant children, to them. And this is also the reason why, in one of my previous posts, Greg Abbott, the human trafficker, it's one of the reasons why, because they got busted here. Greg Abbott is busting them over to these other sanctuary cities where the traffickers on this side of the border get paid on their end by trying to get them out of the holding facilities over there, where once again they're completely off guard. They have no clue as to when they're scheduled to be in Chicago or DC or New York, because Texas Governor Greg Abbott is not sharing the information. They have no ID, so therefore they have no way of knowing as to whether or not the sponsor that's coming for them, they're supposed to be a relative or a friend of the family that's already made it over here, made a citizenship and has a residence. Okay, there's no way of telling as to whether or not that migrant belongs to those people or is to go to those people or those residencies. So you're getting guys that are posing as them, which are actual traffickers on this end that are supposed to get paid on this end. They're trying to take those people, no differently than the way they did here in San Antonio and various parts of Texas. You understand? It's all about the money. Belief is a tool. So where does Greg Abbott and that incident comes? Well, he can't get paid if he's not getting them collected up here. So he's sending them there. And he's getting a profit that way. The rest of the time, ascertaining that actual migrant is the trafficker's problem. Now, again, I have no physical proof of that. Like what I said with Greg Abbott, human trafficker, I have no proof of that. But given the complications that he has given, assigning cops to cage the children, those migrant children, while traffickers were passing underneath their noses, it only stands to reason that Governor Greg Abbott is doing this kind of stupid, moronic, worthless attempt at taking on the migrants because he's getting paid under the table. He's getting paid behind closed doors. He's collecting. Again, that's the previous post. Texas Governor Greg Abbott, human trafficker. Okay, back to this one. Migrant Handlings, another reason to vote for Beto and Biden. Aside from the BS that the scandals, I should say, aside from the scandals that the current facilities and volunteer faculties and volunteer organizations have gone through in previous years, I've got no doubt they're going to come back to try to bring up the facilities again. I got no doubt. I'm hoping that it doesn't come with those same scandals again. The traffickers themselves feeling that they've got the balls to continue and seal the deal, etc., etc. I'm hoping that things are worked out right, but in hoping is really not what's going to get it done. It's voting for the people that are actually going to be working hand in hand with each other to get it right, to keep doing what we're doing, to keep doing what they're doing, which is the more productive way. Detaining and arresting and prosecuting the criminals and traffickers, while quarantining the infected, and medically providing, particularly those that were trafficked through sex trafficking, any kind of illnesses or diseases that they've got, and at the same time keeping those and rescuing those who have no problems, who are also surrendering as asylum seekers, cooperating with filling out all the forms and going through the vetting processes. That's the organization that I like to see. That's the medical rescue that I like to know. I don't really need to know the serious cases as to what happened to those trespassed against, but the simple fact that medical people will eventually be writing their own book, these doctors and all them will be writing their own books, giving testimonials about the people that they saved through medical problems with the migrants. That'll be good enough. But I want to know it. I want to see it. I want to read it. And I especially want to see those gang busting crime busters. I want to see those cops. That stuff tripped me out. The video footage of the trafficker, this big bad trafficker, being chased by the cops, and at best he could do was slow down enough for the migrants that he had in his vehicle to tuck and roll as they jump out of the moving vehicle in order for the driver, the badass trafficker, to drive away and escape. That shit cracked me up. How about the working trailer? You got this big truck driving with guys that look like workers and all this stuff, pulling a trailer, thinking that they were clever, with a platform connected to the bottom of that cargo trailer. And then when they pried off the top of that cargo trailer, all the wood planks, and saw what was underneath, they see all these migrants in sardine style laying out across the bottom connected platform to that trailer. It was cool. It was hilarious for me to see. I thought that was fantastic. They busted these dudes for trying to be cute and clever and all this other crap. Life endangering those poor migrants, having them to jump out of the moving vehicle, but they got busted, and that's good. I want to see cops doing that. That's what I want my tax-paying dollars to go for. Especially these bullcrap things to stop with the smuggling. That's what I want my tax-paying dollars. That's what I want to see. I want to see them stop somebody across the border who claims there's nothing up my rectum. I want to see that crap. I want to see the cops bust these people. I want to hear about great stories of rescuing these migrants. And I want the policy workers and these rescues and these operations to take place in processing them correctly. Rescuing efforts. Recover, rescue, and rehab into American society. That's what I want my tax-paying dollars to go to. That's what I want to see my tax-paying dollars going to. Migrant Handlings. This is yet another reason why we should, those of us in Texas, vote for Beto. Okay? Those of us in Texas, vote for Beto, and most definitely keep Biden and the current administration in its process. All right? Keep it going for one more 4-year term. It's not going to kill us. It's going to be a badass thing. It's going to be cool. I love it. I can't get enough of it. And I can't get enough of broadcasting it here on my podcast. And I hope all those of you who see these things or see whatever it is that's got your attention, and that's got you to want to develop a voice, to voice your concerns, set up a podcast. Do it just like me. You don't need a studio. I'm doing this off of my phone in my car during my lunch breaks while rideshare driving. Okay? voice your opinion. Do it. Voice your concerns. Let's hear you. So I'm coming up to an hour. I'm passing an hour. I'm past the hour now, and I'm gonna go ahead and close it. I'm gonna try to close it and say y'all take care. Y'all have a safe weekend. Don't forget, this is Labor Day weekend. Everybody's going out and all this stuff. I don't know if you can hear it, but there's a lot of traffic going on these highways above me and on the sides, on the access roads and stuff. So everybody's out enjoying their Labor Day weekend, their 3-day weekend. Stay safe out there. Pay attention to your surroundings, in particular, places to duck and hide. And the reason why I say this is because there's some buffoon out there with a rifle that wants to shoot up the place in the name of God, in the name of politics, in the name of, hating gays or some kind of crap like that. There's some douchebag out there that's gonna do it. So wherever you go, pay attention to your surroundings. Look for the closest place to duck and hide. And remember, you more than likely got a chance to do so, because these days the gunmen are shooting from a distance in this day and age. It's been a long time since you saw the guy with the trench coat, staring down a public place before reaching into his coat and pulling out a shotgun. Okay? Those days are gone. We haven't seen anybody like that in quite a while. Okay? They've been lone wolf attackers. They've been sneak attackers. They've been sniper shooters. Okay? They've been shooting from distances. And then to top it all off, like that one douchebag, I forgot, I think in Chicago or someplace, that one douchebag that dressed up like a woman to get up to the rooftop, and then kept running around in drag, trying to escape in his little car. He was like a DJ, and he even did a dang testimonial. I forgot what you call it. It's not a testimonial. It is a... Well, I'm just going to say testimonial because I can't remember what it was. I can't remember the word. But yeah, I mean, you got guys disguised now. Even his ugly cross-dressers, and you got them shooting from distances. It's been a long time since there were guys standing in a public area, staring everybody down, deciding where to shoot first, and then building up that momentum, and then pulling out the shotgun and shooting people. That hasn't been around in quite a while. So you've got an advantage in this day and age. As soon as you hear the gunshots, go straight to the place that you can see, where you can duck and hide. Pull your wife, your kids, tell your friends, your vatos, hey vatos, get over here. Get your girlfriends, those girls on the night out. Grab them, take them to the spot that you could see, where you can duck and particularly get out of visual. You'll want to get out of the visual of that gunman. Okay? But yeah, stay safe out there. Be cool. Have fun. And be good to each other. Because there's some douchebag out there that's not gonna. Okay? There's some moron out there that's gonna pull up a gun and start some shit. Okay? Y'all take care. Take it easy. This is Chris with Chris's Comments, signing out.